Gear for sure matters, but if I had to put it into percentages, it's 1%, where those other things I mentioned are 95+% of the process. There's a big problem in music production that I don't see enough people talking about. Let me explain. Music production, when it started, came from a place of need. People had songs that were written and they needed them produced, meaning recorded, mixed, mastered, etc. Over the last 10 to 20 years, though, that trend has turned more into a want to make new music through music production. Now, that in itself isn't a problem. I think the new innovations and technology behind music production are amazing, and I think it has lowered the bar, allowing virtually anybody with a phone or a computer to become a music producer or an artist. The problem, though, lies in the mindset shift that it's caused in new producers. I see more videos and content out about gear and the best mics and the newest technology and plugins and XYZ. I'm guilty of this as well. I have a new video coming out about the Elgato Wave DX versus this pod mic, but all of these comparison and new gear videos cause a symptom in the mind of new producers, and that's thinking that they can't make what they want because they don't have what they want. It might seem subtle or even insignificant, but it really has massive ramifications on your long-term growth. You see, when your mindset is how to make it happen versus why you can't make something happen, that's where creativity really thrives. I think we've all gotten to a place at one point or another where we're comfortable in our workflow and our process, and we get kind of a writer's block because us being out of our comfort zones causes us to be more quote-unquote creative because we're making new stuff, we're figuring out new problems. It's really in those zones that we see the most growth. One of my passion projects and side jobs is teaching new producers and artists how to make the best possible music that they can. And the number one excuse I hear by far, literally not even comparable, is that they don't have XYZ gear, laptop, mic, plugin. Yet when I work with professional producers, super stupid term by the way, but you get what I mean. They consistently are less worried about how we're making it and more focused on just making it happen. Just taking it step by step and making it happen as we go. I'm not saying that there's no thought put into the gear or the plugins. I think us as people in this music field are bound to get excited and curious about the newest and greatest stuff. But the big difference I see in the crowds of beginners and professionals is that the beginners say that they can't because they don't have something, but the professionals just say, let's do it and figure it out as they go. It's reaching a problem, overcoming it, doing that over and over and over again until the song's done. So I urge you as a listener of this, and by the way, thank you for watching. It truly means the world to me. If you want to see more of my content, just click that subscribe and that bell. But I urge you to start making as much as you can with what you have right now. Only upgrade when it's necessary, when you're hitting a ceiling of something that you truly can't do because the gear is getting in the way. Stop making excuses based on what you have and don't have. If you struggle with really getting that out of your head, go online to one of these gear rental sites and order that Neumann U87. Get it for a couple days. It is so much cheaper than trying to buy one. But once you have it in front of you and set up, I promise you're going to get hit with the realization that it's not the gear. It's the song. It's the practice that makes you efficient. It's the performance. It's the skills of knowing how to do everything. Gear for sure matters, but if I had to put it into percentages, it's 1%, where those other things I mentioned are 95+% of the process. And they're what determines 95+% of the outcome. There's a million videos here on YouTube where you can see people making something great with quote-unquote low-quality gear, comparing an SM57 to an SM7B in a blind test that most people can't hear the difference on, a $500 Slate ML1 to a $20,000 Sony C800G. The law of diminishing return tells us that us spending more doesn't actually get us that much more quality. You would think that the difference between a $100 mic and a $20,000 mic is that the $20,000 mic would be 200 times better quality, but the truth is it's not. And I think a lot of people, myself included, struggle with this until you kind of get them in your hands for yourself and listen to them. Once you realize that it's all just about the skill, the song, and the performance, and that could be the performance of how you sing or rap as an artist, or how you mix or how you produce, you'll see that the only way to develop those to their highest level is by practicing and putting in the hours. And I'm not just talking about comfortable hours of going through the motions. You can do that for years and really not get any better. It's doing things that you're uncomfortable with, doing the things that scare you in production, mixing, singing, whatever you're trying to do. Treat yourself more like an athlete training to be and stay the best that you possibly can, versus what I see most people doing, which is kind of like idly making music but convincing themselves that they're already the best, that their innate gift of creativity is all they really ever need and they don't need to work at becoming the best. I think if you look at the most successful and creative minds in the world, you're going to see that they put in a lot of work very often. They stay being creative all the time. Now, some delusion of grandeur I think can help in this industry, because in a sense you need to be your own cheerleader. But regardless of the talent that you were born with or not born with, the only way to take it to its highest level is practice. And doing that again and again and again and again. I promise you, the newest mic, the best plugin, this MIDI keyboard versus that MIDI keyboard isn't going to get you where you want to go. And I'm not just saying this, I've personally been down this road. I spent 10 years and over $60,000 that I did not have. Literally ended up in debt and bitter because I didn't understand this simple idea. See, I always kept putting in the work. I saw whoever was around me and I was putting in more work than them. I spent all of my time getting better, but my mindset poisoned the whole thing because I thought that I didn't have what I needed to be able to take it to the next level. I kept saying, once I get this and that, then I'll be able to do what I want. And it's just not the truth. You can stay in that mindset for one day or 50 more years, and either way, you're kind of killing your chances of having a career in the music industry. I say music industry loosely. You can do it yourself, go through a label, start your own company, but I just mean a career in music. And honestly, the crazy part is the more work and practice that you put in, the easier music production becomes. I'll run sessions now where we make 5, 6, 7 songs in a night, and it feels literally 100 times easier than when I was starting and I would spend 50 hours on one song that ended up being garbage in the end. If you can't do these things, music production might not be for you. I just have to say it bluntly, because there is so much more that goes into having a career as an artist, engineer, producer, etc. If you're not willing to do everything you can to make yourself the best at it, then your likelihood, unfortunately, is close to zero, because there's so many people out there that do this now, so many people who are passionate about it and who are willing to put in that work. Now, I'm not saying if you've been doing it idly that you're doomed. Just let it stop as soon as possible. Get out of the imposter syndrome, start taking yourself seriously, start knowing that this is something that you can actually do, but it's going to take hard work to get there, and just start putting in the work every single day, day after day. Everyone's talented nowadays. Everyone has a studio. Everyone can record, but not everyone can elicit emotions in strangers with their music. Not everyone can get someone to add a song to their playlist and listen to it over and over and over again. Not because they're their friend and they're trying to help them out, but because they truly love the song. Not everyone can learn to work so efficiently that everyone around them just says, I wish I had that natural ability, not seeing the years of work that they put in. And I know this isn't my normal video where I'm showing a new technique or reviewing a piece of gear. And I know that probably means this video will get no views, but I don't care. I think if I didn't put out this video, I'm doing the musician community a disservice, because this is by far the biggest excuse that I hear from every single new producer and artist. It's literally implanted into their brain that because they're not recording in a huge studio, or they don't have the best mic, or they don't have the newest plugins, or this or that or this or that, that they can't do what they need to do. So if you want to watch gear reviews and comparisons, I'm right there with you. I love those videos. I watch them for entertainment and because I'm super curious, but please don't let that get into your head and convince you that you need those things. Again, if you're hitting a ceiling and the gear is actually getting in your way, then focus on trying to upgrade it. And I know that that doesn't quite do it for all of us, because we all kind of like the retail therapy of getting new gear. And if that's the case with you, like it is with me, always try to look for what is the weakest link in my process and upgrade that. Now, that could be your sound panels, that could be your chair, that could be your microphone or your plugins. If you're an artist, unfortunately, I hate to say it, that could even be your image, your clothes, the money that you're spending on a music video, etc. I'm not a person to lie and say that these type of things don't matter. Gear matters. The way that you present yourself matters. All of this stuff matters. But at the end of the day, in music, what matters the most is the music and the way that you present to the world that you either make music, or an artist, or a mixing engineer, etc. Because like I've said in so many videos, you could be the best musician in the world, but if no one knows that you do it, you're going to have a really hard time making a career in this. Now, this isn't all talk either. I actually just made a video last week of me making a full song inside of BandLab on my phone using a $100 microphone, and we released it on Spotify. You can check that out here, or the link's in my description. I appreciate you watching. Go make something new today. Rant over. Take it easy.